Hello and welcome to the third webinar from The Power of Yes. I'm Erin and I'm really excited to be with you here today. This is going to be a little bit different from the first two introductory webinars, Get a Vision, and then the second one, Your Best Creative Year. So today we're talking about when shit happens, what I like to call the poopy diaper. It's that part of the creative process after you've sprung out of the gate, so excited about your idea, you're working right along, and then the doubt starts to creep in. So that's when the poopy diaper occurs. Your productivity starts to go down, you're just not sure you're cut out for it. And there's two options. You can crash and burn, or you can recover and achieve the goal you've set. How fast you're able to recover from the poopy diaper stage, that really sets the pace for your long-term success. So we're going to be talking today about some practical steps that you can take if you find yourself in a challenging spot with the creative process. And I'll also offer you a meditation that can be used in as little as 30 seconds, or it can be expanded and used for a longer period of time, but just can help you do a major reset when you're not feeling so great. So that's what I'm here to offer you today, because it's just part of the process. So what I do with the Power of Yes is provide tools to independent creators. And part of the foundational philosophy of the Power of Yes is that we can say yes to any situation that we're in, even the ones that don't feel so good. And actually, by saying yes to them, we can recover from them a lot faster rather than being in denial or coming up with all kinds of ways of avoidance or just putting things off. So the Power of Yes is saying yes to where we are right now in the present moment. That's why the Power of Yes is built on the primary functions of the creative cycle and of the practice of mindfulness. So it's bringing those two things together in this powerful combination to help you become more resilient. Because let's face it, it is a challenge to be an independent creator. If you're an artist, if you're an independent healing practitioner, if you're some kind of change maker or activist, if you're an inventor of some kind or work out of a maker space, you're just trying to put something new in the world. And that is frightening. Most people avoid it completely, or they just talk about it their whole lives and never do it. So if you are here today and showing up for this, you've already made some kind of commitment to yourself as an independent creator, and that's really awesome. And I just am here to support that. I've worked with artists for 20 years, helping support their biggest visions, and I've picked up some tools along the way, and I've also myself put a lot of new things into the world. So I've learned by experience, and that's what I'm here to show you. So today we're going to talk about the poopy diaper. Some might call it getting stuck in the mud, but I think the poopy diaper sounds better, and it's just a little bit more accurate, because that is how you feel when you are stuck, when things aren't going your way, when there's some major technical failure, when everything seems to be falling apart. For some of us, the voices that appear in those moments can be absolutely devastating. Others seem to slide right through, and that really is one of the biggest factors about success in the long term, success and fulfillment. So you can push through, and a lot of artists and creators over the years have used all kinds of self-medication and different kinds of coping strategies to get through those obstacles and blocks. But the Power of Yes is saying you don't have to sacrifice your happiness and well-being in order to push through those obstacles. There are just some better tools to do it, and we know so much more about how the brain works and the mind and consciousness and awareness, and we can use some of those tools to help us get through the tough times, whether they're in life or they're part of the creative process. So saying yes is about just normalizing the tough times. It doesn't mean anything personal about you. And if you've had a lot of challenges, especially in your early life or young life, whether you've been discriminated against or abused in some way, or you've just had a lot of challenges, then it's going to be even more difficult for you to overcome, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. And these tools are really about helping people to see that the challenges can be the place of your greatest potential. Because like Chiron, who in the Greek pantheon, the centaur is the wounded healer, your greatest gifts can come out of your greatest wounds. So the Power of Yes is also about saying yes to that, saying no to shame and saying that you are so valuable exactly as you are. You have all the gifts you need. It's just about getting them out into the world and getting past those fears or blocks. In the first webinar, Get a Vision, I talked about some of the major obstacles to being an independent creator in the world. Those include fear, which I just talked about a little bit, isolation, which happens when you want to hide out, because sometimes that's where we find ourselves, covered up in shame, not wanting to put ourselves out into the world, fearful of criticism or what other people say. And I offered some specific tools to deal with the fear of criticism and the comparison menace that can get into us when we're looking out at the world and comparing ourselves to others, and then that causes us to hide, that causes us to isolate. And then the other thing is overwhelm. And of course, mindfulness tools are really great for dealing with overwhelm. We live in a chaotic world. We are bombarded by information all the time. We can become distracted, chasing shiny objects, going after so-called opportunities that really don't serve us. And the power of yes is about saying yes to where we are in the present moment, so we can come away from that sense of being overwhelmed with too much to do, giant to-do lists, and never getting ahead. That constant sense of being on the hamster wheel. I just finish one thing up and then I'm on to the next thing. You need to build in rewards for yourself. And for that, you need to take space in between one thing and another. And so mindfulness is kind of the wedge that drives in there and gives you some space, so you can really start to appreciate your gifts, appreciate the value that you put in the world, because all the external gifts and rewards and awards don't necessarily compensate for the feeling of unworthiness if that's something that you're struggling with. And if you're struggling with it, then you're among the 99% of independent creators. And it's kind of the flip side of putting something new in the world, is dealing with massive amounts of fear, which is to be expected. So we're going to talk about some specific tools that you can use when things really get tough, when you're in that kind of dip in the creative cycle, after you've come out of the gate, you're a thoroughbred, you're really going for it, and then you just hit a wall. So what happens when you hit the wall? What do you do in that moment? What you do in that moment is so crucial. It's really, that is the make it or break it moment. It's not the finish line. It's that point where you want to give up. What do you do right there? That is where you start building the muscle to go further and take your dreams to where you really want them to be. So I'm going to move into some of the tools that I wanted to share with you today. And first, some really practical things. So here you are, you're working along on your project, and then you just get stuck. You don't, the voices set in, you're not good enough, you're not cut out for this, you don't have the skills for this, it's just not worth your time, it's not going to matter anyway. Those are just the demons. If you listen to even some of the world's most famous artists, especially writers, because they're really good at pinpointing the voices in their heads, they will say that those voices are still with them, and still they've published dozens and dozens of books. So the first step, if you are in the poopy diaper and you just really feel like shit, is to just embrace it. Don't try to fight it. Just accept that's where you are. Notice that's what's happening. Otherwise, you might end up chasing around, finding ways to distract yourself, getting involved in addictive behaviors, creating drama for yourself, and really there's just no urgency in that moment. So just know that you can be with that feeling, and that actually it will shift under your gaze. So if you start to soften rather than harden or to run away, you can find the space of relaxation, even sometimes within that moment of overwhelm or of anxiety. And if you have thoughts that are coming at you, urgent, demanding, just know that anything that comes at you that is urgent and demanding is not your inner muse. It is not the voice you need to listen to. It's just voice in your head. And the most successful people in the world, one of the key things that they say is they just don't identify that much with the voices in their head. So this is definitely one of the places that mindfulness meditation can help you out in the creative process. So first thing to do if you're in the poopy diaper is just embrace it. You can make memes, you can draw your the little demons that are telling you that you're not good enough, externalize them. Sharon Salzberg, who's a Buddhist teacher, gives hers a name. I can't remember what it is, but she gives hers a name, and then she invites her inner demons to have tea with her. So just know that it's completely normal. This happens. It's just some part of the limbic brain that is trying to protect you because it wants to keep you safe. It's just a maladaptive technology that's kind of still hanging around, but you don't live in a cave. You don't need to be scared of the world outside. You can step into that space, and I believe in you. So first, embrace the poopy diaper. The second is to just consider the bigger picture. Get some perspective. Have you been in a tough situation before, and did you come out of it? The answer, I am sure, is yes, because if you're here and you're alive today and you're a creative person, then you have overcome many obstacles to get here already. So just remember that you can always go back to those past successes and use them as fuel for the current moment. Just remember that you've gone through obstacles, you've overcome them before, and even if you have to think about the worst case scenario, go ahead and just entertain that for a moment. Entertain the worst case scenario. What is the worst thing that can happen? In the first one of these webinars, the slideshow didn't show, and I felt mortified afterwards, but really the world didn't end, and I just re-recorded it and put it back out in the world. And you can do that too. There's just so many opportunities to come back, to bounce back, and people really love when the underdog bounces back. So it can make for a great story if you let go of the shame that's surrounding it. The third thing is get physical. If you've ever heard this, maybe you've heard of this phrase, move a muscle, change a thought. So get out, go move your body, go for a run, go take a bike ride, do yoga, do something that's just gonna take you out of your head, and also bring into the body endorphins and those good feeling emotions that can override some of that negative thoughts, because those thoughts are not just electrical impulses. They're not really even real. A lot of it has to do with the chemicals and the hormones that are activated in your body through stress. And so some people are just way more sensitive to the stress hormones. They've been through very stressful, oftentimes been exposed to really stressful situations in their young life. And so it's just habitual that what pops up in those moments of hardship or when there's a problem are your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. And so if you get physical, you can change the hormones that are in your body, serotonin, that will help compensate for the negative or the hormones that have tend to have a more detrimental effect, the stress hormones. So just get out there and move your body around, go dancing, anything that can enliven your spirit, laugh and have fun. Oh, that's the next one. So the next one is treat yourself. My friend and I have this saying when we're having a hard time, what is the next fun thing that you can do? Really, if you can experience joy in a moment, it can just erase all those negative feelings. So do something that really lifts your spirit. Sing or dance, or go play a game, or play mini golf, or ride a roller coaster, or whatever you can do. Just get out of the poopy diaper. The goal when you're in the poopy diaper is to get out of it fast, because you really can't do much that is inspired. And you want your work to come from a place of inspiration, not from a place of like trudging through with your eyes bleeding and 10 bottles of whiskey and on the table. So if we're talking about bringing mindfulness into the equation of creativity, we're talking about understanding how the mind works and where inspiration comes from, where creativity comes from in the brain. It comes from the rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system, sometimes called the feminine side or the moon side in yoga. This is when the body is at rest and relaxed. This is where inspiration occurs. This is where those big ideas come from. This is where all the unconscious activity of the brain comes to the forefront and delivers you some divine idea. But if you're caught in the constant ruminating and overthinking and that kind of spinning sensation, like the rainbow wheel of death on a map when it's looking, searching, you're going to find a temporary solution that won't serve the long-term problem. That's just not where the real solutions come from. They come from the parasympathetic, which is much more able to process information in complex ways. So the limbic system, the older part of the brain, which is activated when you're in stress, when you're in the sympathetic nervous system, will come up with immediate options, but those usually are not the best solution in the long term. So really, the thing to do when you're in the poopy diaper is just get out of it and then come back with a refreshed mind. So get physical. And then the last, oh, nope, there's 5 in this step-by-step method. 4 is treat yourself. What did we get there? We did get physical. Oh, treat yourself. This is do the next fun thing. Sorry about that. So then 5. Okay, 5. So 5 is to get, oh yeah, leave that shit behind, honey. Like at the end of the day, give yourself a bath. Just tell yourself like that was a bad day and now I'm going to move on. Give yourself a time limit on your suffering. Like, okay, this is enough. I've felt bad about this for a long time. I've piled the shame on. I've stuck the arrow in. So Buddhists call the second arrow the arrow you stick in yourself after you've already been shot by another arrow. So it's a form of self-punishment that you do because you think that you messed up. So just, if you can, do whatever you can do, shut down your computer, talk to a friend, kind of bookend your day and really let it go. Get a good night's sleep, do whatever you need to do to relax, and just come back to it the next day. So those are the 5 practical tools that you can do. You embrace it, you get some perspective, you get physical, you treat yourself or do something fun, and you just let it go. So now I want to offer you a meditation, and this is a meditation technique that has 4 parts to it. It can be done in as little as 30 seconds. Once you get the hang of it, you can just kind of turn it on or off. You can do it any part of your day, wherever you are. No one is going to know that you do it. Well, the last one actually, people might know that you're doing it, but or you can do it for a longer period of time. So I've been talking very quickly, which I have a habit of doing in these webinars. I have a lot of information I want to share and I don't want to take up all your time. We're going to try to keep it short today. This video is just going to be half an hour long and we're at 18 minutes. So I promise not to go on and on today. We're just going to keep it short. Now let me tell you about what I call the grounding into expansion meditation. So take a moment and get present. If you haven't already, close any additional tabs in your browser that's open, silence your phone. Let go of any distractions. And as you sink down into your seat or cushion or whatever you're sitting upon right now. Notice all the points of contact between yourself and your seat. Feel your sit bones grounded. And begin to deepen your breath. Breathing in, filling the entire abdomen up into the ribs, and then up into the chest, underneath the collarbones. And exhaling from the chest, the ribs, the belly. So the first part of grounding is feeling your seat, or if you're standing, feeling the points of contact between your feet and the ground. And then starting to deepen your breath into this 3-part breath, Durga breath. Inhaling from the belly up, exhaling from the chest back down. If your eyes aren't closed already, you can go ahead and close them. So the second step in the grounding into expansion meditation is a visualization. Inhaling, you imagine breathing in red smoke. And actually touching into any kind of anxiety or agitation. Taking it in. And as you exhale, imagine breathing out a crystal blue smoke. And with that, a cooling sensation. Breathing in the frustration, breathing out the sense of relief, of cooling, of relaxation. Give yourself a few more of those breaths where you're exchanging the energy from dark, hot, heavy, into clear and light. Keeping your eyes closed, let go of that method of breathing. The third part in the grounding into expansion meditation, you lengthen the exhale by counting. So for instance, inhaling to a count of 1, 2, 3, and then exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, breathing in and out the nose. You can even combine this with the 3-part Durga breath, or if that feels a little too complicated, go ahead and let that go and just breathe naturally, breathing in to a count of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and allowing the exhale to be twice as long. This calms down the sympathetic system. It switches the brain over to the parasympathetic. So that's part 3. Part 4 is getting perspective. And for this, you'll need to open the eyes. You take the hands and bring them up alongside the ears, and then softening your gaze, start to look into your peripheral vision to where you can see both hands, and then start to take the hands back as far as you can to the outer edges of your peripheral vision. This softens the gaze because with a hard focus, you'll be unable to see both hands. So just for a moment, trying to keep both hands within your field of vision causes the gaze to soften. And again, this activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Go ahead and release the hands. So I'll go over this quickly one more time because, as I said, you can do this as little as 30 seconds. So the first step is to ground, either in your seat or standing up. Feel the points of contact between yourself and whatever surface is supporting you. You start to deepen your breath into the 3-part breath. The really important part is breathing as deep into the belly as you can. Then the second part, the second step in the grounding into expansion meditation is to, oh, I forgot what it was. The letting go. So this is where you visualize the smoke coming in, the hot, heavy smoke coming in, and the clear, crisp, clean air coming out. That's part 2. Part 3 is the counting of the breath to lengthen the exhales. Again, engaging the parasympathetic. That's what we're really after here. And then the 4th is with eyes open, expanding your awareness into your peripheral vision, softening the gaze, which again tells the body that it's time to relax. So those are some tools. It's about 4:30. I'm going to wrap this up, but first I want to tell you about the course that I'm offering. That registration ends September 15th. It's the Get Funded course. If you've looked at my other 2 webinars that are the Intro to the Power of Yes, then you've heard me talk about this course. It's a 5-week course delivered in Zoom, just much like this, but with slideshows and with a lot of worksheets and other things to support you on this process of creating an application or a grant or doing personal branding. There's actually many uses for the modules of this course. If you're someone that wants to get really clear on the value of your vision and what you're putting into the world and have this really intensely grounded sense of what you have to offer so that you can match that up with opportunities, that is what the Get Funded course is about. It's not like a lot of other grant writing courses where you're learning to identify what other people want. That will certainly be part of it. But what makes this course really unique is it comes from first identifying what's valuable to you. It starts with this deep dive into your intention, into the influences of your work, into your own process, into your values, into your vision. And from there, then you can identify opportunities that will grow and support that. The other side effect or benefit of doing the grant writing this way is that you just become so much more confident. You're able to give that elevator pitch. You're just able to talk about your work in a confident and calm and totally self-assured manner because it really is coming from such a deep place and you're totally connected with that. And you can just let other people take it or leave it. But what happens when you let other people take it or leave it is they're actually much more excited about working with you. I don't know about you, but if someone's chasing after me, like I get the sense that they just really want something, then for some reason that's a turnoff. But you can stand in your confidence and know that you're have the sense that your vision is going to be realized, that you are a person that is going to make opportunities happen for yourself. And people love to fund that. They love to support it. They really love to see someone really going for it. And if you have that sense, then you can just be so much more comfortable and confident with your work in the world. And that's really what this course is about. So it's 5 modules delivered on 5 consecutive Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern time, starting Thursday, September 20th. And there's a bunch of worksheets and roadmaps that help you take you through this process. This is a process I have used with dozens of artists to help them raise hundreds of thousands of dollars to support their work. And most of the artists that I work with, actually all of them pretty much, never use this process for just one grant. Maybe they come to me with just one opportunity, but what happens is we turn the whole thing around 180 and we make it about them. We make it about what do you really want? What do you want to put in the world? What is your vision? What are your values? Where are you coming from? Who are your influences? Take a deep look at how people really put their visions in the world. It's not a linear process, but it comes from this deep sense of confidence and this resilience. So that's part of why I wanted to talk about the Poopy Diaper, is that having this resilience is really where the miracles happen. And so Get Funded is another way to just build up your self-confidence so you can really go out there in the world, because there are obstacles and there are challenges and there are biases all over the place. And not everyone has the same opportunities going in, but you can really help out your chances if you're coming from a place of confidence. And when confidence happens in yourself, clarity happens in your vision. Clarity happens in your language. You start communicating with people in a different way that they can actually hear. Instead of trying to impress people or tell them what you think they want to know, you just start talking in a really authentic way, and people really respond to that. It rings like a clear bell when there's a ton of noise going on of people who are trying to sound like what they think they're supposed to be sounding like. So if you can get to that place where you can write with clarity and confidence, you will win a lot more people over to your side, and you'll also win yourself over to your side. And that is one of the most important things, because the application process can be grueling. It can be terrifying. There's just that period where you're waiting to hear, and you might lose self-confidence. And for whatever reason, different groups of people respond to this very differently. Some people are just take rejection well, or they make a game out of rejection. Other people get rejected once and they never apply again. So this is about building the muscle to experience success through resilience. That's what the Power of Yes is about. That's what this Get Funded course is about. And one of the best things, and I think the what do we call that? I don't know. It's not the fly in the ointment, it's the other thing. The proof in the pudding, I don't know. No, the best part of the course is that you'll be doing this with other people who are just like you, smart, talented, really going for it, have big visions, and want to put something new in the world, and are really excited to do that, and then just run into some challenge. Because once you start having to do a grant by yourself, you run into all those things I talked about, all those obstacles. You run into isolation, you run into overwhelm, you run into fear. And so here is a place where you can just accept that that's just part of the process. You'll have a group of other people cheering you on. We'll do it together. You don't have to isolate. You don't have to do it alone. You'll have other people to share resources with. Other people can critique your work. So there's a private Facebook group that will be available to everyone doing the course. I'll be in there with prompts to help you along. I'll keep checking in along the way throughout the week, in addition to the Thursday night webinar, which will also have a Q&A at the end, much like this one. So there'll be a course module and then a Q&A, and you can ask me all the questions you want, and then I'll come on the Facebook page another time during the week, and you can even send me little snippets of your writing and I will just give you feedback right there. So this is a step-by-step course. At the end of the 5 weeks, you're just going to feel so much more confident about your work. You're going to be able to talk about it without any kind of shame, no more hiding, just being out there and saying, this is what I want to do and this is how I'm thinking about going about it, and be able to have conversations with anybody and everybody. And actually, that's where a lot of the opportunities come from. They don't come from the formal application. They come from just being able to share your vision with others with clarity and confidence. And that's what I really want to help you do with this course, Get Funded. So it's 5 modules, private Facebook group, bunch of worksheets. It costs $229. Registration ends September 15th. If you want to find out more about it, you can go to powerofyes.space/get funded. Again, that's powerofyes.space/get funded. And there you will find a little bit more about me, a little bit more about the course, and you're also welcome to contact me through the site and ask me anything. The site is under construction. The full Power of Yes site will be rolling out later in September, but in the meantime, you can go and find out all you need to know about the course. If you have any additional questions, of course, contact me. There's a 100% money back guarantee. If you go through the course and you do all the modules and you present me with your homework and you say this really wasn't any good and didn't help me, then I will refund that money. I really want to make this affordable and accessible to artists and healers and people who have big visions and big hearts and really have amazing gifts to share in the world but don't have a lot of money. So this is taking my boutique grant writing services, which cost a whole lot more, and boiling it down into a step-by-step process that you can do. I'll provide as much feedback as I can and within that context, and then you'll just have this amazing group of people who are going to cheer you on and support you. It's just one of the best things about the Power of Yes, and I've had awesome people in my coaching groups, people who are just so enthusiastic about helping one another and giving other people the big thumbs up, and so smart and so talented and so full of joy. And that is really the whole atmosphere that we're creating here at the Power of Yes. But I can't do it alone. I need you to join with me. So if you're thinking about it and you have any questions, you can go ahead and find me at my Facebook page, Erin Marie Sickler, or you can find me through the website. There's an email in there. You can contact me and I will be happy to answer any additional questions. Let's get you signed up. Let's get you started. You will have materials that you can use for years to come. That has been the case for all my grant writing clients. We work on one grant and they use it for years and years because it's really centered around their vision, their projects, their process, and they can keep iterating that in different ways and putting it out in the world. So I'm really excited to share this course with you, and please contact me if you have any questions. And I'm going to sign off. So I really hope that you've taken something away. If you're in the poopy diaper, don't worry about it. It happens to the best of us. And now you've got some tools that can help you get out of it quickly. So leave that shit behind. Tomorrow is a new day. Today is a new day. Say yes to it. and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Now I'm going to take questions.